Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the panel of utility commissioners and staff from the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority, held today, Wednesday, June 23rd, by remote teleconference. I am joined by my colleagues, the Vice Chairman Jack Bukowski and Commissioner Michael Karen, and my name is Marissa Gillett. So we have a regular calendar and consent calendar before us today. We will start with our regular calendar. So the first item on today's agenda actually covers two separate decisions. In docket number 17-12-03 RE11, which is PURA's investigation into distribution system planning of the electric distribution company's new rate designs and rates review. First, we will be receiving a presentation on the interim decision that deals with the issue of the rate 30 tariffs in the Eversource service territory. So we will begin with a presentation of that interim decision by Authority Staff Director Josh Ryor, presentation of that interim decision for the panel's consideration this morning. Josh.
Great, thank you, Chairman Gillett. Good morning, Vice Chairman Bukowski and Commissioner Karen. As all of you are aware, on October 2nd, 2020, the Connecticut General Assembly passed the Take Back Our Grid Act. Section 5 of the Take Back Our Grid Act authorized PURA to consider the implementation of an interim rate decrease, low income rates, and economic development rates for customers of the electric distribution companies pursuant to its authority in section 1619 subsection G, 1619E, and 161900 of the General Statutes of Connecticut. On October 27th, 2020, in accordance with the Framework for an Equitable Modern Grid issued in docket 17-1203, and pursuant to section 5 of the Take Back Our Grid Act, the authority initiated docket number 17-1203 RE11 to explore new rate designs that address the disproportionate impact of increased electric rates on the lowest income customers and the need for Connecticut businesses to remain competitive with neighboring states, in addition to considering the implementation of an interim rate decrease, low income rates, and the economic development tariffs. Today's decision concludes the authority's investigation into phase 1A of docket 17-1203 RE11, the authority's investigation into Eversource's rate 30 rate structure and possible economic development rate alternatives. If adopted, the decision would direct the Connecticut Light and Power Company doing business as Eversource Energy to develop optional economic development tariffs that consist of a volumetric kilowatt hour distribution rate and a reduced distribution demand charge component. Existing small business customers would have the ability to remain under Eversource's current rate 27 or rate 30 tariff, or may elect to transition to the newly developed interim volumetric rate, a tariff rate rider. The decision finds that the creation of optional volumetric rate 27 and rate 30 tariff riders will provide timely economic relief for low demand small business customers as they attempt to recover from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. The optional tariff riders would also help small businesses control their energy expenditures and promote the state's energy efficiency and renewable energy programs. Last, the optional tariff riders also addresses concerns raised by the leadership of the legislature's Energy and Technology Committee, who reported that small businesses were receiving high bills despite operating at reduced hours during the pandemic. Ultimately, the decision finds that optional volumetric-based rate 27 and rate 30 tariff riders are in the public interest and are consistent with the Take Back Our Grid Act. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you. So I am looking for a motion with respect to the recommended decision.
So move.
Second the motion.
Thank you. The decision has been regularly moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the panel? So I would just like to thank Director Ryor and his staff for the work that went into this decision. I also want to thank the leadership of the Energy and Technology Committee who brought this issue to our attention, as well as the number of customers, including small business representatives who have submitted testimony to PURA regarding this matter. So thanks for everyone's hard work on this, and I would ask Mr. Bumpin to please take the roll.
Chairman Gillett,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Keohane,
Yes.
Thank you. The interim decision in that matter has been adopted. So we will next move to the interim decision. This one spans 3 dockets. So it's the docket number 17-12-03 RE11. It is also the interim decision for docket number 21-01-04, as well as docket number 16-06-04 RE04. So this interim decision, shorthand description of this interim decision is with respect to the settlement filed with respect to the United Illuminating Company. So we are going to turn to Stefanie Keohane to present that decision for the panel's consideration.
Thank you, Chairman, and good morning, Commissioners. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. As the Chairman just referenced, this interim decision addresses a proposed settlement agreement that was filed as part of the 2020 annual rate adjustment mechanism proceeding. So in this decision, the authority is directing the United Illuminating Company to make amendments to its proposed settlement agreement that UI initially had filed with PURA back on March 9th. The proposed settlement agreement was entered into with the Office of Consumer Counsel, the Office of Attorney General, the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, and PURA's Office of Education, Outreach, and Enforcement. So the amendments to the proposed settlement agreement direct UI to net the deferred rate adjustment mechanisms rate components balance that has been identified by the company in this proceeding against the company's accrued tax liabilities over the period of January 2018 through June 30th, 2021, as well as the inclusion of a $5 million contribution from UI. And this will take place through an adjustment to base distribution rates over a period of 22 months, up to 22 months from July 2021 through April 2023. The amended settlement, among other things, also satisfies the topics examined in phase 2A of the docket 17-12-03 RE11 proceeding that was referenced earlier by the chairman, and this pertains specifically to the interim rate decrease, as well as a separate proceeding that had looked at the treatment of UI's existing tax liabilities. In addition, the amended settlement terms would ensure that PURA can begin investigating performance-based metrics for UI's operation as authorized by the Take Back Our Grid Act. And with that, I would recommend this decision for the panel's consideration.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Keohane. So I would seek a motion to adopt the decision as described by Ms. Keohane.
I move adoption, Madam Chairman.
And second.
Thank you. This item has been regularly moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the panel? Okay. All right, seeing none, I want to thank our staff as well as all the settling parties who contributed to the decision today. I think we've reached a balanced result and look forward to it being implemented. So Mr. Bumpin, can you please take the roll?
Chairman Gillett,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Keohane,
Yes.
Thank you. That decision has been approved. So we will next move to docket number, the second item on the regular calendar, docket number 21-02-25. The 2021 report by PURA to the General Assembly concerning lost and unaccounted for gas. So this is a annual report that we are required to issue. So I'll summarize the report for the panel's consideration. So General Statutes of Connecticut Section 16-34A requires the authority to report to the General Assembly no later than July 1 of each year regarding the topic of lost and unaccounted for gas. Pursuant to the statute, the report is required to include 4 different items. Those items briefly are a description of the reasons for each gas company's percentage of lost gas, recommendations regarding gas leak reduction strategies, a description of each gas company's current gas leak monitoring system program, and the number of leaks and causes of such leaks throughout the entire gas distribution system in the state. Lost gas is an accounting concept. It's a rate-making tool developed to indicate gas system efficiency and to allow the LDCs, the local distribution companies, to recover the cost of gas purchased on behalf of gas ratepayers. The lost gas metric is sometimes misinterpreted as the actual quantity of natural gas or methane linked into the atmosphere from a gas distribution system. Although leaked gas is one component of lost gas, the primary contributors to the lost gas metric are metering and accounting disparities, which do not reflect actual quantities of gas escaping the distribution system. Lost gas is not a representative measurement of actual methane emissions from the gas distribution system. Current technologies do not enable the accurate measurement of the actual amount of lost gas attributable to leaks. However, the best available data indicates that leaks are generally a de minimis component of lost gas. Nonetheless, the authority recognizes that leaks of gas from the LDC's distribution system raise important environmental concerns because methane is the principal component of natural gas and is a potent greenhouse gas. As such, in docket number 20-02-19, PURA's investigation into uniform natural gas leak classification system, the authority revised the current process for classifying and remediating leaks from the natural gas distribution systems in Connecticut to provide guidance to the LDCs regarding the remediation of leaks attributable to environmentally significant leaks. Based on the authority's review of the 2020 compliance filings submitted by CNG, Southern, and Yankee, the LDCs have complied with the statutory requirements regarding lost gas reporting. The LDC's largest components contributing to lost gas are accounting and measurement factors, which include meter inaccuracy, pressure variations, billing reconciliation, and temperature variations. For 2020, which is the topic of today's report, CNG, Southern, and Yankee reported a lost gas percentage below the statutory maximum of 3%. The authority will continue to evaluate the implementation of the LDC's leak monitoring and gas leak reduction programs. Pursuant to the statute, section 16-34A, the authority will continue to require that the LDCs provide an annual report to the authority concerning the lost gas in their respective service territories. So with that, I would recommend to the panel adoption of the report for provision to the General Assembly.
I move adoption.
And second.
Thank you. The item has been regularly moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, Mr. Bumpin, can you please take the roll?
Chairman Gillett,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Thank you. The report has been adopted. So we'll move to item number 3 on today's agenda, docket number 21-03-02, the application of Catalyst Power and Gas LLC for a Connecticut electric supplier license. So on March 1st of this year, the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority received an application from Catalyst Power and Gas requesting that the authority issue an electric supplier license to serve business customers in Connecticut. The record of this docket includes information regarding the company's intention to engage in other energy-related businesses in Connecticut. Specifically, Catalyst will develop distributed generation and connected microgrid projects, some of which may be solar projects. Catalyst's intention to offer microgrid development, solar installation, and electric supply to those customers raised some concerns regarding marketing tactics and consumer protections. Thus, the company is required to notify the authority prior to initiating any of these intermingled energy products. Catalyst is also advised to consult any decision and evidence in PURA dockets before marketing in Connecticut. The decision reflects a non-exhaustive list of requirements that the company must abide by in exchange for receiving a license to operate. So if the company is able to demonstrate compliance with the orders below, the decision that I put to the panel today would extend to Catalyst the electric supplier license that it has sought. And there are a number of other instructions and delineated orders in the authority's decision that the company would be required to abide by, including the annual filing of reports on or before October 15th of each year. So with that, I would recommend the decision to the panel.
I move adoption.
Second, sorry.
Thank you, Commissioner Keohane. The item has been regularly moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from the panel? Seeing none, Mr. Bumpin, can you please take the roll?
Chairman Gillett,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Thank you. The decision has been adopted. We'll next move to docket number, or the fourth item on today's agenda, which is noticed in both docket number 89-12-16, as well as docket number 960332. So I'll summarize the recommended decision for the panel's consideration. In the decision dated May 18th, 2016, in docket number 89-12-16, the authority granted Sprint Communication LP's request for a certificate of public convenience and necessity to provide statewide inter-exchange and resold toll services. In the decision dated May 1st, 1996, in docket number 960332, the authority granted Sprint's request to expand its CPCN to provide local exchange service. By petition dated February 26, 2021, Sprint LP requested to cancel its CPCN, stating that it currently no longer offers or provides regulated local or inter-exchange telecommunication services to Connecticut customers. Today, Sprint LP's customers purchase voice over internet protocol-based or VoIP services through service agreements. Therefore, Sprint LP's voluntary request to revoke its CPCN will not adversely impact Connecticut customers. Since Sprint LP has no Connecticut customers with regulated telecommunication services, no customer notice is required. Section 16-247G, subsection G of the General Statutes of Connecticut governs PURA's consideration of Sprint LP's CPCN revocation request. On May 24th, 2021, the authority issued its proposed reopening and final decision in this matter. The authority is statutorily obligated to offer the company a hearing. However, on June 2nd, 2021, Sprint filed correspondence that it did not request a hearing and asked that the authority adopt the proposed reopening and final decision as final, which revokes Sprint LP's CPCN. Thus, I am recommending to the panel that we do as Sprint has requested and revoke their CPCN. So I would ask for a motion on this item.
I move adoption.
And I would second.
Thank you. The item has been regularly moved and seconded. If there are no questions or comments, then I'll ask Mr. Bumpin to please take the roll.
Chairman Gillett,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Thank you. The decision has been adopted. So we'll move to the fifth item on our regular calendar, the annual election of officers pursuant to section 16-2 subsection B of the General Statutes of Connecticut. So first seek a motion regarding the position of Vice Chairman.
Madam Chairman, I would move that our esteemed colleague, Commissioner Jack Bukowski, be nominated for the position of Vice Chairman for another year from 2021 through June 30, 2022.
Thank you. I would second. So are there questions or comments regarding the motion?
Tempting, but no.
Thank you. I would just, there's too much to say. So I will thank Commissioner Keohane for his motion and the Vice Chairman for his willingness to continue his service. And I would call for a vote on the motion.
Chairman Gillett,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Keohane,
Yes.
Thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Vice Chairman. Your term has been, your position as Vice Chairman has been extended for another fiscal year.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Congratulations. So next, seek a motion regarding the position of Chairman or Chairperson of the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority for the year beginning July 1st.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to put the name of Marissa Gillett into nomination for chairman for the July 1st of 2021 through June 30th of 2022. You've led this agency through probably the most unique, challenging times that we've ever had during the pandemic. You put new staff into place. You've handled storms. You've had one heck of a year. So I will enthusiastically put your name into nomination for a term commencing July 1st of 2021.
And Madam Chairman, I would also like to say, looking forward to serving with you for the next year, and therefore I will second this nomination.
Thank you to you both. So the item, the motion has been put forward and seconded. If there are no further questions or comments, then we'll call for a vote on the matter.
Chairman Gillett,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Keohane,
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries. So we will move next into our consent calendar. So we have 13 items on our consent calendar. I would seek a motion to adopt the consent calendar in full.
Madam Chairman, I would so move.
Second, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. The consent calendar has been regularly moved and seconded. Seeing no questions or comments, I will call for a vote on the consent calendar, please.
Chairman Gillett,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Keohane,
Yes.
Thank you. The consent calendar has been adopted. With that, we have reached the end of our agenda for today's regular meeting. We will adjourn. We will reconvene next Wednesday, June 30th at 10 a.m., also by remote teleconference for our next regular meeting. Wish everyone a good rest of the week, and we are adjourned.